Hello world and welcome back to Billion Dollar Baby. I am your host Tara Electra, and on this podcast we are going to break down the billion-dollar ideas from today's cultural leaders who have pushed past the traditional route to create their very own pathway to success. Today I'm going to talk about rich bitch energy, which is such an important quality to have, if you ask me. I've been wanting to be wealthy my entire life. I think that people are worried about admitting they want money in their lives, which is why they have a hard time with making money. I've had a dad that worked very hard his entire life. So I grew up really watching hard work to earn money. And then I also had a pretty limiting mindset about what it looks like to make money. I didn't really believe that I could make money doing something I love. So I really followed my father's footsteps and helped him with his business. And to be honest, I would have done that probably my whole life had I not watched The Secret. So The Secret is a book and a movie that you've probably heard of. So once I watched The Secret, it really opened my mind to the limiting beliefs I had. I realized I'm not just a victim that has to do things I don't love in order to make money, or I have to work so hard in order to get it. Like, I realized those are just beliefs that I learned growing up that I'm holding on to, and that I get to choose if I want to hold on to these beliefs. I started to learn, like, wow, I am creating my own world. And if I am creating my own world, then what can I change? And so I knew I wanted to make more money. So one of the things I learned about was to visualize what I wanted. I closed my eyes and I was like, okay, I imagine money. And at the time, I couldn't imagine $100 bills. For some reason, I could only imagine 20s. So that kind of tells you where my mind was at. So I can only imagine $20 bills, but I can imagine a wad of them. So closed my eyes, imagined these $20 bills in my hand, a wad of them. And I really felt it and was like, okay, I can have this. Then that weekend, I went to a party with some of my friends. It was like a random house party they brought me to. And I guess these people rented this house to throw this party. And the next day I was like, oh, shoot, you know, we don't know the owner there. Like, I left my jacket there. And so my friends figured out how they could tell someone to put the jacket outside. And so I went, picked it up, grabbed my jacket, went home, put it away. And then the next day I went to put my jacket on, put my hands in my pocket and pulled out a wad of 20s. And I was like, oh shit. And then I realized, I was like, wow, that's the universe working for me. So then I learned about creating a manifesting album. And I had this iPad and I went around the internet and screenshotted a bunch of things I wanted, like a car, a house, a hot boyfriend. And at that time I was younger, so I just wanted a hot boyfriend that also believed in law of attraction and manifesting. And so put this in my album and I would look at it every day, listening to music to be positive. But months went by, didn't really watch it anymore and forgot about it. I went out one night and I had this guy walk up to me and ask for my number. And I'm like, yeah, sure, you can have it. And then a few days later, I got a text and I saw the Instagram. I'm like, ooh, this guy's cute. And he asked me on a date. Then I went on the date and the first thing he asked me was, do you believe in law of attraction? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So we dated for about 6 months. Didn't really work out because we didn't have the same like deeper things that we wanted in life. But I went to go give away my iPad. And when I went to go delete photos in my iPad, I saw the photo and it was him. So I literally Googled hot guy. It was like this beautiful photo of this guy, put it in this album, didn't even think about it. And I manifested this specific guy. Probably one of the craziest things I manifested. So I started to be like, wow, you really are manifesting. We really are creating our own reality. And it's all about, what are your limiting beliefs around the things you want? Once you realize that you're manifesting your own reality, start by really understanding what your limiting beliefs are. So for mine around money, it was you have to work really hard for money, you have to get a college degree in order to make a lot of money, and things like that, right? So making a list of them and starting to get them out of your blind spot is the first step when you realize that you are creating your reality, because what you believe is what you get, right? So I wanted to write those down and get familiar with them. And so a lot of times people, when they have these weird feelings come up around a situation for something they want, such as money, they might feel like, oh, they feel lack, or they feel like they have to work really hard, or they feel like there's not enough. When those feelings come up, they reject them. And when you reject those feelings, you're actually pushing them down more, you're actually holding on to them more. And so you're not allowing yourself to really feel and see them. It's like going around the world with like pink goggles on and only seeing the world in pink, and then not knowing that if you take them off, you could see the world in so much more color. If you don't know your limiting beliefs, you're still living from the pink goggles and you're not going to see that there's a whole new way of looking at the world. So, first, it starts with knowing what your limiting beliefs are, not being afraid to look at them, not being afraid to be okay with them and accept them. So, for mine, when I was realizing like I'm someone that works really hard, and I'm soft with myself through that, you know? I'm like, okay, like it's okay. You grew up with a dad that was working all the time. You know, you barely got to see him because he was always working to provide. And that's okay that I feel that way. So making it okay for you is now allowing me to see it not be such a negative thing, and allowing myself to now live from a new perspective, because when it comes up, I at least know it's there, right? And that's the first step to overcoming it. Another really interesting thing I do is I start to look at my relationship with money the same way I look at a relationship with another person, especially in a dating, like romantic relationship. So if you're a male or female, think about if you're dating someone. If that person is like super needy, doesn't want you to leave, like wants all of you, doesn't want you to go, like lackful energy, the first thing you'll do is want to get away, right? It's the most unattractive thing. So think about that as the same way you think about money. If you're being lackful, needy, don't want it to go anywhere, can't even get a penny to leave, right? It's very unattractive. It's really like pushing that relationship with your money away. So you need to come from a place of really being like, oh, if money is like a relationship, what's the best way to be in a relationship with someone? Probably to be abundant, be cool, calm, peaceful, grateful, accepting, loving, not needing money, but wanting money. Like, I don't need you to be there. I want you to be there. Like, if you gotta go, thank you. If you're gonna come, thank you. Like, you're very positive when it comes and goes, and you're creating this like equal balance and flow with money so you can have a more easy flow of abundance coming into your life. Another thing I like to do is surround myself with thoughts, speakers, and people that have a more abundant way of looking at money. So I like to read books that talk about money mindsets. I like to listen to speakers that are talking about it and engulf myself in these types of thoughts. And when you do that, you're allowing yourself to align with the way other people are thinking around money. And once you get yourself into that mindset of understanding money and what that looks like and how people look at it that are abundant, you could start to write down what you want. So I like to say that when you're manifesting, start with manifesting things that you can actually believe that you will achieve. So it's like when I could only imagine $20 bills in my hand. It's like if I went there and was like, no, I have to imagine hundreds, even though I couldn't believe it. That's the quickest way to not manifest what you're looking for. So I allowed myself to be like, okay, I only could see $20 bills right now. So I'm just going to manifest that. And then I got it, right? So you don't want to jump way beyond what you can actually imagine to be true. So take your first initial steps and start to write it down daily. I would write a list of your goals for money or whatever things you want to manifest and make it feel achievable. And then some things you can also write with it is money comes easily and effortlessly to me. It's so easy for me to make money. There's money everywhere I look and go. Like, I'm so abundant. I live such a positive and financially free life. And like start to say things that feel good and write it down every single morning in a journal, play positive music, and get yourself in the mentality of someone that makes money. I think it's important to constantly monitor your relationship with money. Sometimes you're human and I even do it. I'm lackful sometimes because of my past and I have to get myself back into a better place. But I've helped multiple people in my life and talent that I work with make significant amounts of money. And one of the things that breaks my heart is when they get in their own way of making more money. And that just shows me that they're not ready for that amount of money. They haven't set themselves up mentally to make more money. And so it's very important that when you're manifesting and you're starting this journey that you continuously like check in on the way you feel around money, whether you're paying a bill or you need to buy something. If you find out about something you didn't know you had to pay for and it feels negative at first, switch it in your mind and be like, you know what? It's okay. I trust that that money is going to come back to me. I know that's going to come back. So thank you, money, and you send it out. Other things I do is thank my money, like just like you would with a relationship. So if I'm paying for something, I say, thank you, money. And I try to remember to thank it for being there, for giving me the things I want. And then if I get money, I say, thank you, money. Like, I appreciate you for being here too. So it's like a good relationship. Another great thing that you can do is start to track your money. There's so many apps on the internet that allow you to do that, where you can start to see what your expenses are. If you get more comfortable with looking at the money you have, how much you're spending, you're also creating a better relationship with your money. You know where your money's at. You're more confident about how much money you have and where you're going with it. Even if it's not as high as you want it to be, you're getting more of a better relationship with it. You shouldn't just shove it away and be like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Put it out the back of my mind. No, look at it, know where it's at, and then become more positive about creating the next steps of where you're going. But if you don't look at it and create a relationship where you can really understand it, you're also pushing it away and creating that relationship where it's not healthy. So start by really starting to track your money, know where it's at, know what your goals are, know what your next step is. And like I said, if you're manifesting more money every month, say you're making $3,000 a month, you probably don't want to say, I want to make $10,000 a month. You want to start with the next easiest step that you could actually imagine. So create milestones that you can really believe that you can achieve and write them down daily. Remember that anything you're chasing will run the opposite way. Instead, be in a place of allowing. So I'm so excited for you to continue watching my season of shows with such fascinating people that have also expanded their mind to get more abundance, wealth, and success in their lives. We are going to dive in to each episode with different creators, business owners, thought leaders, and really understand their mindsets around how to be successful and how to create a pathway that allows you to do what you love while making money. So stay tuned. We're going to be having a new episode every week for Billion Dollar Baby. You can follow me at TARUHHH, where I will be posting updates about Billion Dollar Baby. And I look forward to seeing you next week.